This has Bears fans hyped as we rank the top 100 players in the NFL, and a Bears player was just selected in that top 100 list. We'll go over what exact ranking he was, and what Ben Johnson says about this, and what this means for the player's future, his current play style, and even his prime years back with another team. And welcome everyone to the Bears Digest Media channel. I am your host, Gabriel Vázquez, once again. Thank you for joining me. Yes, guys, a Bears player we all know and love, picked up at a trade a while ago. It's Montez Sweat, one of the few Bears players that have been consistent over the past couple years that everyone knows that we wish could even be a little better at times in his prime, but he was ranked in the top 100. We'll get into more on exactly what ranking and what this means for Sweat for his future and even the present. But of course, guys, before we get into any farther into today's video, this video is brought to you by, you guessed it, guys, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app, and it's the best way to get in all the action. Of course, y'all, we'll dive into some more crazy picks and awesome promotions later, but for now, just make sure to download the app using the link in the description and the pinned comment and use code DIGEST to sign up today. New users get $50 instantly in their lineups when you're playing your first $5. It helps the channel out a ton, guys, so always be involved, get Prize Picks, and let's get some picks going. We're in the heart of sports. We got baseball, World Cup, other sports. We got it. We got a bunch of things going on. We got the PGA, of course. I'm not sure if you guys even bet on the PGA or pick on the PGA, but it's definitely something to get into. But of course, you guys, back into the video. Montez Sweat was picked in the top 100, and the ranking that he was picked is not surprising. Now, I'm kind of surprised he was chosen. A lot of Bears fans think that he's underperformed. A lot of Bears fans are thinking he's still this young guy that he was on the Commanders years ago. But it's nice to see him, I guess, get some recognition. And the reason why he got this pick is because he had a pretty solid year compared to other seasons on the Bears. Like I said, it's no prime Montez Sweat like we knew back in Washington. But at the same time, he's still consistent, he's still powerful, and he's still being a playmaker on and off the field, including those sidelines and just in the locker room. So I want to get into the article really that kind of backs this up. Gonna go to more of a graphic here to really explain what it's happening. So the edge rusher, he cracked the NFL's top 100 players 2026 and was voted by players around the whole league coming at number 91 on the countdown. So he didn't make the top 90 technically, but you could say he made the top 95. He wasn't the last five picks. So you could definitely say that there's some, I guess, not bragging rights, but some, key parts into that, So he recorded double-digit sacks, obviously with 10, as you see on the screen, and it was the first time he did that in a Bears uniform. He totaled 12 and a half between Washington and Chicago when he got traded in 2023, which was, wow, at this point 3 years ago, which is crazy to think about. But now with his two double-digit sacks, we didn't really expect that from him, and more of a, you would say, I guess, underperforming pass rush. And for him to really be effective with those 53 tackles, 13 of those for a loss, and he hit the quarterback 18 times. Like, he's not going to go out there and sack him like Myles Garrett you think would with the record he had, but 10 sacks for a defensive front that has just been one of the Bears' struggles for a while now. So you definitely have to recognize that and give him the props. 3 forced fumbles and 5 pass breakups. You can really say, like we've been saying, he is the key piece to this defensive line. And I think the issue when it comes to Sweat is not that he can't get there. I just think that he needs someone else off that edge that can help him tremendously, because if you get someone on one edge that's getting 10 sacks, I can imagine if you get someone who gets 6, 7, 8 sacks a year that tops that, if not more. Get someone that can do 10 to 12 sacks, 12 to 15. You have a 25 sack defensive front in just your edges alone. So I think that's what everyone was kind of hoping for, that either on the edge side or the interior side, that someone would help Sweat out with those 10 sacks. That's kind of what I've been saying, because that's exactly what he needs, and it will definitely boost up that defensive line by tremendous numbers. So I'm all for it. I think he deserved it. I mean, I'm not shocked about the placement. I was a little shocked at the very beginning, but again, when you look at the stats, they're not crazy eye popping like I said, Miles Garrett would, or even one of the known well passers in the league, Aaron Donald. Like those guys put up crazy sacks and they're so dominant that you're like, okay, well, we have to get, or even Josh Sweat from the Cardinals that we wanted so much. Like they put up a bunch of sacks a game, but it's all about the production he brings to the table and to the team that highlights his productivity the most. And that kind of goes into what Ben Johnson says. We're going to go to the image top left here. Again, while Sweat wasn't the superstar that we all know and love at that position, he's still consistent, like I just said. He's for sure the Bears' best part of that struggling rush, and Ben Johnson, I think he had one of the best years in his career. And when you look at it from Ben Johnson's perspective, you can agree with him. Like, yes, not stat-wise, but just production-wise. What he's done to this team, what he's done for the playmaking ability for that defense, the leadership he brings from all those years in Washington and then coming to us. Like it's more than just the stats on the paper. It's more than just the records being broken. It's all about what the player is capable of doing on the field, affecting other players, of course, in a positive way. So in that 7-year span, for Ben Johnson to say when he had those prime years when he was putting up those big numbers, that this is his best in his career, when he had 12 and a half sacks 3 years ago. I mean, that does wonders on how much he's improved as a player and even a person. So I'm all for that, for Ben Johnson going above and beyond and what he thinks about him, because that's exactly what a player like that needs. And that kind of goes into this third article, that he played at a very high level. Johnson, like he said back in minicamp, he talked to him about, he would argue that it's his best year of his career, like I just said. Again, whether it's on the stat sheet or not, his just ability to play the run, something the Bears struggled a lot with last year, his ability to break up the passes, which you just saw on the stat sheet, that's something that he did pretty well. So you can see that his momentum of being a productive player from those years are back, and it's all about that mindset that he has to get where he can be and just go crazy about it, because Sweat has the capability, he has the talent, and he has the playmaking to do it. He just needs a little more help, because yes, he's coming into his 8th year. Those years, especially in the game of football, they come up on you. So you can't knock him too much for not being productive when 10 sacks is really decent. Like, any time a defensive line, at least especially an edge rusher, can get to 10 sacks, that's no gimme. It takes work, especially these days. And I guess the last article we're going to put out for you guys is a little more, fun and interesting stats, to educate you a little more. So Sweat is the first Bears player, to make the NFL top 100 in 2026 this year. And to be honest, it will not be the last. We're going to see Caleb Williams, who had a fantastic year, Colson Loveland, who was a stud, Kevin Byard with those league-leading interceptions. He had 7 of those. They had a phenomenal way to end their year, and I do think they're going to get the recognition in the top 100 list. But of course, we got to give our props to Montez Sweat. He's been carrying the load in that front defensive line, and really all over the defense in general. Just being a leader, being a captain, and being that veteran presence that Chicago needs, especially with these young players. So I'm really all for it, and hopefully he gets to that level that we all know and love, or if he's putting up 10, 11, 12 sacks, or even just having a lot of passes deflected or defending against the run, all that matters. Or giving opportunities for younger guys who might not be overlooked as much. They might be underlooked, and Sweat, because of his talent and ability, they might focus on him too much and give other players a greater opportunity to make some plays. But Of course, guys, let me know in the comments what you think down below. But before we end this video, of course, almost forgot, we have to go back to our sponsor, Prize Picks. You already know we all love Prize Picks, you guys. Can't believe the video is almost over. How fast did that go by? But of course, guys, you know, we wrap up. Today's video is brought to you by Prize Picks. Use the link in the description and use code DIE just to get started today. And let's do the Flex Friday. Flex Friday is back in full swing, you guys. Boost your end of the week by using the Flex Friday payout boost to get a 40% higher payout every single Friday. You can't miss out on that, guys. Come on, lock in with that. And for that, because we're ending the weekend on a good note, let's do with some amazing picks. It's the World Cup. It's time to pick some soccer. France versus Sweden. Let's do Kylian Mbappe, one of the more well-known players. Not a huge soccer guy, but World Cup time. We gotta lock in with the biggest stage of the world. So let's do more for Mbappe on 0.5 goals. Let's get him to over that, and I'll be happy. And of course, widely mentioned as the GOAT, widely mentioned by many as the GOAT, Lionel Messi, you know, a good friend of mine, also thinks he's the GOAT. But let's do more than 3.5 shots for him against Cabo Verde, which will be interesting with Argentina. That'll be Friday at 5. Use that Flex Friday payout for that match. That will be amazing, you guys. Those are my picks. Again, use code DIGEST. Your first $5 will turn into $50 instantly in the new lineups when you're playing your first $5. It helps the channel out so much, you guys. So please continue to use Prize Picks. We're doing great with that. And of course, let me know what y'all think in the comments about Montez Sweat and his position on the listing, what Ben Johnson thinks about his career, this being his best career in 7 years. Always let me know, guys. Season's almost here. Me and Dylan are trying to keep you guys updated when it comes to the Bears Digest and all things Chicago Bears. So subscribe, hit that like button, guys, and as always, go Bears.